Hello and welcome to the Joy Dealers podcast, where we talk about emotional healing and inner work in general. Today I want to speak about shadow work. Shadow work is essentially the heart of what the Joy Dealers are about. And it is often read in spiritual communities, and I want to start with just giving a definition of what shadow work is to help us then go through the topic in a more defined way and knowing what the definition actually is. So shadow work basically means to work with your own shadow, and the shadow is another word for your unconscious patterns, your unconscious traumas and topics that are hidden within you. And shadow work often sounds like it's something dark, like dark secrets that you're holding, and it can definitely be that. I don't want to deny that this can be an aspect of shadow work, but it doesn't have to be the only thing, because actually what also lies hidden in our shadow is what is also sometimes referred to as the golden shadow, is our potential that we deny ourselves of living and of being. And these two aspects I want to highlight, that we are looking at what is preventing us from living the life that we actually came to live, and that we decided when we manifested into a human form that these will be the tasks that we want to dedicate our lifetime to. And what is holding us from that? What is blocking us and what is keeping us away from living our full potential? Also, what is hindering us to live fulfilled relationships, to live fulfilled lives in the end? I am a big believer of that relationships are essentially life. So the quality of our relationships is often a good reflection of how full and of how alive our lives actually are. So how do you go about targeting your shadow? Because there's a reason why these topics ended up in the shadow. They ended up in the unconscious. Because somehow, one way or another, they were not welcome. They were denied existence by our caretakers, by society, by teachers, or maybe by ourselves, because we felt like something was not welcome. And as children, we come into this world with a completely open mind and a completely open heart. And then piece by piece, we close it up, we filter, and we have to do that. That's actually a healthy mechanism to be able to survive. If we are not able to filter everything, we cannot build any kind of resilience. And then we will be overwhelmed by life. And so it is important that we somehow filter for ourselves what is welcome and what is not welcome. And it's only when we then don't reevaluate and update our systems that sometimes old blockages or old protection mechanisms can hinder us in living a full life in the way that we actually would like to. And this is when shadow work becomes very valuable, because we start looking at what old programs are still running within us, within our systems, and we are not even aware of them. And a good place to start is, of course, situations that trigger us. If we feel like, I'm reacting a bit too much for what the topic is actually about. This already, of course, requires a very high level of self-awareness. And often we will rather get the reflection from the outside than of us having the insight by ourselves that maybe we might have overreacted. A person that gets triggered and then bursts out into tears or screams at someone will get the feedback that this is a bit too much of a reaction for the situation at hand. And if we are receptive to this feedback, we can actually use it to our advantage and begin tracing these, what Richard Schwartz would say, trailheads back into ourselves and find the moment in our history where this kind of behavior or this hurt actually comes from. And then we make it to the root, to the root of this unconscious, of this shadow, basically, and shine the light on it. And once we bring something into the light, it no longer needs to live in a shadow existence. And then it first of all loses its power over us because it is already in the light. So it's not jumping at us from the back without us even knowing what hit us. And instead we can see it more clearly and bring compassion to it. And then as a result, it basically resolving itself. And sometimes it can feel like we are at the same topic for a really long time and we work through the topic and then it comes back. But that is always a different layer that is being opened up to us, because our soul is very, very wise. It will never, never, never overwhelm us with the whole content. So if we are mindful with approaching our shadow, and this is, I think, where a skilled or helpful person by your side, be it a coach or a therapist, can really be invaluable as a companion into the shadow, to see how far can we actually go and where can we maybe slow down a little bit in order not to overwhelm ourselves. A very powerful and simple exercise is also to ask for the unconscious to not overwhelm us, and it actually listens. It will not roll over you if you politely and gently ask it to please be gentle with you, because we are often very afraid of what lies hidden in the shadow. As a result, we never make it there because we are so afraid of it. And if we know that we actually have the power to look at it in a way that is portioned, that is digestible by us, we can then work our way through it and thrive as a result of it afterwards, instead of being overwhelmed, re-traumatized, or unable to function in normal life anymore afterwards. So I really, really want to encourage you and invite you to do shadow work, and especially at this time of the year, in the end of the year, we're in November 2023 right now. It's the perfect time to start looking within and being a bit more inwardly focused in the winter times is often quite natural actually to do. And if you look at societies and of religious practices and communities, you will often see that the winter months are more filled with introspection and with rituals that invite that and encourage that. So if you could just ask yourself, when did I overreact recently? And why was that? And just ask yourself and sit with yourself and see, where is that reaction actually coming from? You will quite possibly see that maybe there is a childlike reaction that came out of you that is misplaced in an adult human being. And you can follow it back to the moment where maybe this was the best way your inner being, your inner child could handle the situation, and remind yourself that you are now an adult and that you have now completely different tools to work with. So if you feel like you would like to have somebody to guide you into it, feel very, very free. I would be very honored to message me on amira@thejoydealers.com or on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you would like to contact me. And I would be very, very happy to go there with you. Until then, so much love to you.